Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a makeup look with the Morphe times Jaclyn Hill Bling Boss palette. I will do a look with this eyeshadow palette. I've seen so many videos on YouTube recently of the whole, drama and everything that's been happening with Jaclyn Hill and like her, her collaboration with Morphe, and there's been a lot of inconsistencies with the actual product. I actually haven't used these two palettes. I did only use the two other ones in my last video. With those other two palettes, I had no complaints with in terms of the eyeshadows that I used. So today I'm going to be using this one. I did swatch them because I wanted to see how they would look. But I did take off the swatches because I did wanted to do it on camera with you guys. So I'm going to do that real quick before we even get into the tutorial. And just in general, I have no hate towards Jaclyn. I actually think she's a very just badass beauty girl here on YouTube. Now in terms of, her videos, like actually her talking the truth and all that, I don't know about that because you can never know with people on the internet, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're at that level of success in a way, like you don't know. So I kind of don't even look at it that way. I'm just looking at it in terms of the actual product. I will definitely let you guys know like what are my opinions on the product. Not so much about her name, but obviously I was supporting her when I bought this, so but that has nothing to do with how my opinions on the product will be, okay?
Let's just go ahead and I'm gonna swatch Bling Bling, and I'm gonna try and swatch it on my arm in a way that you guys can see them, because let's be honest, I think last video when I posted, like, you guys could barely see the swatches, so I'm just gonna put Bling Bling here. There you guys can see, I hope. Yeah, so there you guys can see that's Bling Bling, which is super reflective, and it just looks bomb. Then I'm gonna take Hush Hush, which is this color right here. And this color I'm not really like in love with, but I guess with how this palette is put together, I guess it would go well. So there it is. Hush Hush is Gem, which is the color that is like gorgeous, and it's super buttery, as you can see on the finger. I'm just gonna put it right here. There you guys have it. Super beautiful color. Pisaz. I don't know actually how you say that one, but whatever. I'm just gonna swatch that one real quick for you guys. Actually, I didn't swatch this one when I was watching it before. There you got it right there. This stick, which actually I was kind of I was very interested because this one and this one looked very similar when I swatched them first, so I don't know. And I feel like this one, like you guys can see, the swatch is not the best, so I'm gonna go over it 2 times because that's pretty much what she said on her video when I watched it, that they're buildable and you should be able to get better pigmentation once you build them up. I go ahead and swatch the Sparks right here, which is a red kind of like brick kind of color. So there's one layer of it. I'm gonna go ahead and layer another layer of it right there. Move on to Glitz and Glam, which is a beautiful, like you guys can see, super intense. I'm gonna put it right here. Beautiful color. These are honestly gorgeous. Rockstar, which again, I feel like it was super similar when I first swatched it, like the first time, so I'm gonna swatch it again. Right here, that's like honestly a really bad swatch. Like, I don't know exactly what happened with this color. Like, it's almost become, like, it has like a very weird layer on top, so I'm gonna try to scrape that off and see if I can go underneath it, because right now when I'm scraping it, it seems like I might get better color, like, but still that's not the best. So I don't know what the hell happened with that one. I'm gonna swatch it again here. I'm kind of just using whatever powder is coming out from it. There you guys can see it, but I don't see much of a difference between these two colors. I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys think.
And now it's made a mess on my palette. Beautiful.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to Ballsy, which is a beautiful color, and that's definitely a gorgeous shade. It's very different, I would say. It's like the perfect word for it. And then I'm gonna move on to the last one, which is Berry Treasure. And there you guys can see it. This one is a very interesting color as well, because it's like a black purpley, but it has like little reflex on it. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Now that we've swatched them all, my fingers are hella dirty. I'm not too impressed with Rockstar. As I said, it's swatched very similar to Mystic, and now that I've actually swatched it like twice, there's like this very weird layer, top layer, that even when you touch it, it just feels odd. It doesn't feel like a regular eyeshadow, and it doesn't swatch well. But let's try them on the eyes. I don't want to go ahead and judge too hard because I am just watching them, and really you should be judging the eyeshadows on how they perform on your eyes. So we shall just do that. I'm gonna be using a fluffy brush. This is by Morphe. This is a B13. I've had this brush for like forever, and I usually like to go ahead and use this brush for like a transition shade or like something just to start off the look with. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm just gonna take Hush Hush, which is that this color right here. It's like a mauvey pinky kind of color. There is quite it is quite powdery, but not in a like crazy way. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop that right onto the eye. I'm just gonna fluff that all throughout it. This is definitely one of those shades that I would probably not like go towards, because I feel like sometimes these type of colors can look very muddy. It's like, because it's such a cool tone shade, sometimes they can look very muddy, and obviously that's not the look that you want. So I don't usually like tend to go for these colors, but because it is in this palette, I thought I would go for it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of building out that color because that's the whole thing with this palette, is you definitely want to build it up. I'm not having issues blending this shade at all. It actually works very, very well. But again, it's definitely not one of those colors that I will definitely, like, I would usually go for and be like, oh my god, that's such a pretty shade. Like, no, that's not usually how I would go, but I am using it just for the sake of the video. Then I'm gonna go ahead and use Rockstar, which is that shade that was making a crazy mess. But I'm gonna be using it with a different brush. This is by Moda Pro, and it's in the number BMX430, which is like a crease eyeshadow brush. You guys can see it's like very, very fluffy but pointy at the same time. So I'm gonna be using that, and I'm gonna pick up Rockstar, which we'll see if it has like fallout. So yeah, you guys see, because there's like a very odd layer on top, now you guys are able to see where I put the brush in, which I don't know, this just feels weird about the actual shadow. But let's just put it on the eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that kind of like right in this outer V area, and then I'm gonna bring it into the crease as well. So I'm very lightly tapping this again on the outer V, and then just kind of bringing it onto the crease ever so slightly. So odd, because like I said, I've seen a lot of videos about, you know, Jaclyn Hill's product with Morphe, and the first shadows that I used, or like the first palettes that I used, I didn't have any issues with. But this one, I feel like I'm kind of understanding where people are coming from in terms of the actual like palettes and whatnot. And again, I did purchase this myself. I did wait on this myself, you know, just like any other person would have. And the fact that this is happening is not like the best. Like, obviously you're not gonna be happy because you're spending your money on it, right? So I don't know, I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more of Rockstar, and I'm gonna try, like, I'm gonna go in hard. Like, you guys can see I'm going in there hard to see. Oh man, like, it's very weird. Now it looks like, I don't know, it looks messed up, man. But let's try and build this up, because even though there was quite a bit of product on the brush, it didn't seem to apply like tons onto the lid. So, but now it seems like it's doing that. You guys can see it. So I'm just gonna kind of bring that on the outer V, and I'm gonna start blending it kind of like towards the lid. So like, I'm just gonna put that over the lid. I'm gonna blend, or try to blend, the edges right here. It's a pretty color though, for sure, but the fact that it did that, it just, you're gonna go through this eyeshadow very quickly. Like if you do have this palette and that does happen to you as well, you're probably gonna run out of this shadow very quickly because of the fact that it's like very powdery, which you definitely don't want. I mean, nobody wants that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna blend the edges with a little bit of Hush Hush. So I just literally dip my brush in there and just blended the edges. All right, so you guys can see the color on my lid. However, I feel like it's not very true to what you guys see on the pan. Like, I don't know, am I just crazy? Okay. Let's go on to a little bit of Mystic, which is that shade that I told you guys I didn't really see a difference. And let's see if that happens with this as well. It's really weird because I feel like if you do swatch the shades and then you try to go in with a brush, it's almost like it picks up in a very weird way. I don't know, I'm not very happy about what's happening with this palette, but I'm gonna try and apply this again onto this outer V. And then I'm pretty much going back and forth with this brush and this brush, which is just to make sure that everything's nice and blended and whatnot. I'm gonna come in close a little bit because here it's becoming a little bit patchy. Like there's spots where the color is not really going on there properly. Like, that's very weird, but I'm just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep rolling with this and see where it takes us because I really want to see how all the shades perform. So that was Mystic. Mystic did not want to really blend. I mean, it's blended, but here there's a few spots that I can see myself like that didn't really want to pick up the color, and that shouldn't be happening. So I'm gonna pick up sparks, but I'm gonna take it with a different brush. I'm gonna apply that kind of like right on top of the edges, just kind of blend them, see if we can blend a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna take Sparks, that same shade, this one, the red one, and I'm just gonna place that onto the lid just because I want to see how pigmented it shows, even though I am applying it with like a very fluffy type of brush. But I'm just taking that big fluffy brush that I was using and just blending all the colors. So now that I'm looking like I got a bruised eye or something, I don't know where to go from here. I guess we'll take the color Gem, which is that beautiful shade. I feel like this just really brought me down because some of the shades are just looking like poo-poo on the eyes. I'm gonna take the color Gem and I'm gonna take it with a brush. I'm gonna use a dry brush. I don't want to use a wet brush. So I'm just gonna pick that up on this brush right here, and I'm gonna apply that kind of like all over the lid so that, yeah, this definitely is giving fallout again. Quite messy. Actually messier than the last other palettes that I used because the other ones weren't too messy. And I'm kind of just cutting the crease with this, like ever so slightly. So now that I've got that purple shade, it looks really, really pretty. I can definitely tell you that. I'm gonna pick up Ballsy with that same brush. I just kind of cleaned it very quickly, and I'm gonna pick that up again. Ballsy, this one right here. And I'm gonna place that onto the center of it to see how it would show on. It's showing more like goldy. You guys see that? Like it has like a very goldy reflectiveness to it. Now this is without any like, you know, Fix Plus or anything on the brush, or even any glitter primer, because a lot of these eyeshadows sometimes they don't show through unless you have like a glitter primer they can stick to, which I don't have at the moment, and they're showing up really nicely. I can definitely tell you that with the metallics on this palette, like show through very well. They feel very nice and buttery, but the mattes, I don't know how I'm feeling about them right now because of the fact that these, actually all of them, they all did a very funny, weird thing once I swatched them. So I don't know. I'm gonna take Bling Bling and I'm just gonna pop that onto like the inner corner right here. This is a very glittery type of shade, but it's really pretty because it's like very reflective. Oh, can't talk. I'm gonna go back to Gem and I'm just gonna kind of build that up again because I feel like I lost some of that purpliness, especially like right here on the outer and inner corner. So I'm just gonna go back, and I ended up creating like a halo eye. So yeah. Brush that I was using at the beginning, there's nothing on it anymore. Like I didn't pick up any more product, but I'm just gonna blend the edges, and because of this is so pointy, you can definitely go in there into the crease and just blend the crease out, which is what I want. I think it was a Dark Magic palette. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the Dark Magic palette real quick because this palette does not have like a neutral shade, something like this, to go over everything, which I feel like it should, because if you have something like this, you can go over everything and make it blend a little bit better, and to kind of get rid of that very purpley vibe that we were getting in a minute. I feel like this helps it, and you don't have that in this palette other than Hush Hush, which I don't want to be going into and doing that with, because I feel like it's just adding like a little bit of like muddiness to the look, if that even sounds right. But
I feel like I'm struggling too much with this palette right now.
I'm gonna go back to Ballsy again and just place a little bit more of that right onto the center. Really pretty eye. I mean, I really like it. I like how it looks because it just looks like very smoky, but then with this purple on the lid, it really catches your attention. So I do like the look, but I feel like I struggle too much to get to this point, you know, and it shouldn't be like that with a palette. I'm gonna use a little bit of Berry Treasure just to try it out. Oh man, same thing. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys, but you might be able to see the powder that's sitting on Berry Treasure, which is the color right here. But pretty much once you like that was too much I picked up. But once you swatch these shades, at least that's kind of like the conclusion I came up with right now. Once you swatch them, they create a very thin layer on top of the shadow that once you go in with the brush, it'll create very deep brush strokes. And the reason why I came up with that conclusion is because I didn't swatch all the shades from the other palettes that I used, and I didn't have that issue. I actually had the issue of the fact that I had to like be kind of digging into the eyeshadow because I wasn't getting like any eyeshadow powder or like any powderiness at all, which is what's happening right now. Once I dip in my brush, even if it's a very light tap, it kind of creates like very deep brush strokes as if I was like digging in the palette, which I am not. And I don't know, it's just odd. I've never had something like that happen with any other palette. So yeah, that's very weird. Now Berry Treasure is actually a nice color. I feel like it's just very nice to deepen the crease or the outer part of the eye, but you're not gonna be able to see that golden kind of reflection to it, especially if you tap off like your brush once you pick up that shadow, because all the glitter kind of falls everywhere. Like I can see it just going everywhere. So I don't get what the whole point of it is. I mean, maybe if you were just to apply that all over the lid, you might be able to see it a little bit better, but even then I don't think you would be able to see it too much. But okay, move on to the lower lash line real quick. I'm gonna take Rockstar, which is this shade right here, and I'm just gonna apply that with that brush right here and blend that under there. Obviously I'm gonna dust off this fallout. All right, so 10,000 years later, I'm back with both eyes done, and I have like my final thoughts on this palette. I gotta say, I was really excited to play with this palette because of the color selection that I had on here. However, I have some thoughts on this palette, and I don't know if, again, it's the fact that it's like inconsistencies all around the palette or blah blah blah. I bought this from Morphe, like from the website. First other two palettes that I used, I didn't have issues with it, but as I mentioned throughout the video, I did not swatch them before using them, and that's kind of what I did with this palette. So before I even went into like the eyeshadow with the brushes, I swatched them for you guys, and there was a very weird like layer on top of the eyeshadows that kind of build on top of the eyeshadow, and once you went in with your brush, it just kind of like started acting different. Like it started kind of like reacting in a very weird way, which again, I have never seen with any other shadows. Like even if you go in to swatch it, it won't disturb like kind of like the eyeshadow itself. Instead of that, you can go in with your brush and there will be no issues. However, with this palette, there were two shades specifically that really did that, which was Rockstar and Mystic, which are kind of like the purpley dark tones. So this one is Rockstar right here, and this one's Mystic. Those are the shades that I kind of had issues with. But also, having said that, like I love the way that this eyeshadow look came out. I was having issues kind of like blending this at first, and I was seeing some patchiness like right on this outer corner, but I don't see that anymore. Like I don't see any of that, and like there's really no harsh edges. Like I was able to blend. However, I do have to say, I feel like it took me longer than usual. So because I had those issues with those eyeshadows, I feel like I had to go back and forth, like maneuver, like had to really blend and spend time blending. It could also be the fact that I took a lot of products, so that could also be the fact. However, even when I did this other eye, because I didn't do it on camera, I wanted to kind of do one eye with you guys so you guys could see kind of like my reaction. And then the second time when I did this other eye, I was kind of like going into the palette already knowing kind of how the formula was working. So it was a little bit easier, but still I had to spend time. If you're somebody who's like new to makeup, because I'm not like a pro, like no, but I've been working with makeup for like years now, so I know how to kind of work with makeup. I know how to, you know, use the eyeshadows, what kind of brushes you should be using with what kind of color, that type of thing. And if you're somebody who's like kind of new to makeup, I don't know how you would find working with this palette, because it is a little bit more hard to work with. It was really weird. Like it was actually something I had never experienced before, with the eyeshadows like kind of having like that thin layer on top. Yeah, I don't have like any really big issues with the palette. I mean, you guys can see on the eyes how beautiful it looks, and you guys were able to see how they performed. They are a little bit more, you know, time consuming, because you do have to spend more time blending the eyeshadows, but other than that, I honestly don't have any issues with the palette. I think I could even go ahead and make another look like using these reddy tones and this one, like just focusing on these red tones kind of shades. Maybe that I'll do that next or something. I really like playing with that palette, except for the fact that it was a little bit harder to work with in comparison to the other two palettes. So I'll show you guys the palettes that I had already worked with. If you haven't seen that video, I'll definitely link it down below. But I had used this palette, which is the Dark Magic palette. I love this palette, it's beautiful. I did not swatch all of them, so I kind of just went straight into the pen with the brush, and you can see the difference actually. I'll show you guys real quick. This one is the one that I used today, which you guys are gonna be able to see how it looks a little bit more kind of like used and like kind of abused almost, you know, in comparison to this one, which is the Dark Magic, which just looks kind of like, it looks fine. It doesn't look like, you know, the brush was like digged in there or anything like that. But I did use this palette, I have used it, and it looks perfectly fine. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's just this palette that they had issues with. Maybe if you had bought, you know, the vaults, like all of the palettes, let me know in the comments if you had issues with this palette. But so far this palette is just like, I don't know, it was really kind of complicated. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any kind of thoughts, or if you guys kind of have the same thing happening to your palette, especially the Bling Boss. If the same thing happened, let me know, so at least I know it's not like all the shadows. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what palette I should use next, and yeah, don't forget to click that subscribe button right here and give it a like if you liked the video. And yeah, that's it. Let me know please in the comments your opinions, because I would love to hear about them. Yeah, that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye. I have like a lot of fallout underneath my eyes, so don't mind that, but I really like this eye look actually. You know?